Welcome to the amazing world of outer space and the world of alien creatures from beyond. The world of a possible attack from outer space. Hello, I'm your host, Sidney Paul. Do UFOs exist? Will we shortly be invaded by an alien civilization from beyond the stars? What are UFOs trying to tell us? Do UFOs represent proof of intelligent life beyond the stars? These are only some of the astounding questions raised by reports of UFO activity in the world today. In the vast reaches of space, the mysteries which have baffled the ages lie waiting to be explored. How long must man wait to learn the secrets of the universe? How long must man wait to understand the mysterious world about him? It is only in this century that man has begun to strip away the clouds of deception which surround the world of fantastic phenomena and unexplained mysteries. For somewhere out in space is the key to these astounding mysteries. What is this object floating high above the Earth? Is it one of man's observation posts? Or is it sent from another planet? It's an observer satellite sending back data which helps us to better understand our own planet and the universe around it. The pictures which this satellite takes help us to chart our own Earth. And the satellite also looks for other things. UFOs, unexplained extraterrestrial phenomena, and the like. Each of these satellites is equipped with hundreds of little lenses which emit light, allowing the satellite to take pictures of the Earth in outer space. These satellites help design maps which may be used to predict Earth conditions for many months ahead. Throughout the world, at hundreds of remote outposts, scientists keep watch on these sentinels of the skies. The information they send back is man's valuable link to the solar system. Without this information, man would truly be at the mercy of the cosmos. Rotating serenely in outer space, the satellite, aided by gigantic dish radar on our planet's surface, constructs amazingly accurate pictures of the surface of our planet, while thermal maps help to define the path of oncoming hurricanes, thus saving thousands of lives and millions of dollars of damage. These maps are instantaneously interpreted by scientists, who break down the map into information which can be readily interpreted by civil authorities. The information is relayed to waiting weather bureaus, who must accurately determine the path of a storm. We still know so little about our own planet, and we are in the very dawn of the nuclear age. Recent incidents at nuclear power plants on our East Coast indicate that man still has a long way to go before he can control the awesome forces of nature. And in the world of outer space, man has only reached the moon and looks longingly out from its barren surface to the stars in the surrounding universe. Man may reach Mars by the end of the 1980s, but even that gigantic distance is but a small step in the amazing, ever-expanding universe we live in. Who is out there in the vast blackness of space? What do they want? Are they our friends or enemies? Will we be invaded by civilizations from outer space? Although man has conducted studies of the planets costing many millions of dollars, our equipment is still in a very primitive state. Consider that the photographs you have seen are the clearest we have of our planetary neighbors. Our telescopes are still inadequate to unlock the mysteries of the planets. We remain forever on Earth, looking out. But our satellite drones, our heavenly probes, will help us to unlock the mysteries of deep space. What will they find, and who will they meet? In addition to assembling weather data, these sentinels of the skies plot possible trajectory patterns for manned satellites, which will survey the Earth and the heavens. And far out in space, who knows what we may find? The path of one of our satellites may intersect with a planet of unknown origin. Who can tell what astounding data that satellite would send back? And who can tell what mysterious forces are at work in the universe, and what creatures may be out in the darkness, waiting and planning an invasion of Earth? The research goes on, with a cost reckoned into billions of dollars. At scientific research centers around the country, top scientists meet to exchange ideas and evaluate data. Scientific research involving the use of computers encodes and sorts the many millions of bits of information which have been assembled. Weather conditions, atmospheric data, lifespans of stars and galaxies, and puts all of the data into meaningful sequence so that evaluation can properly begin. With their satellite sentinels, scientists can now have close-up photographs of a planet within 15 minutes, as probe satellites spinning by an alien world snap off pictures which are transmitted in color back to Earth on a radio beam. These pictures give us a much more accurate idea of what our universe really looks like. Mankind knows very little about the secrets of the universe. The planets which float majestically through space may be our friends or our enemies. A new planet might be created out of a haze of dust, primordial rock and stone, and a certain something that gives it the spark of life. As we sit thinking, waiting for a sign from the heavens, civilizations are being born, and civilizations are perishing far, far away in the universe, beyond the world we know and understand. Here is an astonishing eyewitness UFO encounter. As we listen to this eyewitness report of the UFO landing, we will show an incredible collection of authentic UFO stills taken from the archives around the world.
This is Dave Hall, Airport Manager, Lake Wales. Wednesday afternoon at approximately 3 o'clock, I received a phone call from an observer in Lake Wales telling me that there was an object in the sky at what he figured was 20,000 feet. I went outside my office and looked up, viewing this object. Then proceeded to check with Orlando radio on the chance that it might be a stray weather balloon. Orlando radio had nothing reported in the area, and since it is practice to report these balloons, we decided that we would go up and take a look at this object. We entered a Piper Apache aircraft, twin engine, and proceeded to climb up to try and view this object. We climbed to 16,500 feet over Haines City and had the object in view all the time. At 16,500 feet, the object appeared to be 50 to 60,000 feet above us. We kept the object in sight, circling it at all times, thereby eliminating the chance possibility that it might be a star. Upon receiving a upper winds report, giving us winds at 50,000 feet of 22 knots, we disqualified the chance that it might be a weather balloon because of the fact that at 22 knot winds, a weather balloon would have been drifting, and this object stayed stationary directly over Haines City for more than 2 hours, as we were up from 3:30 until almost 6 o'clock circling this object. The object appeared to have some sort of a tail or trailing fuselage type design. It appeared to be oblong in shape. The tail part of the object was not visible at all times, probably due to sunlight reflection. We discount the fact that it could have been a weather balloon due to the fact that the object was much too shiny. Weather balloons are coated dull with a powdery effect so that they will not shine and reflect. All the people in the aircraft with me during this time were licensed pilots, have been flying for many years, and have seen many such weather balloons, and therefore we discount the weather balloon theory on the basis of our own past experience. We kept the object in sight until approximately 5:42, at which time the object appeared to be ascending rapidly, and on our next circle of the object, it had completely disappeared. There appeared to be no descent whatsoever to the object. This is Dave Hull at Lake Wales.
Do UFOs exist? In the late 1940s, the Air Force first became seriously interested in UFOs as a possible threat to national security and founded what later became known as Project Blue Book. In Project Blue Book, the Air Force assembled hundreds and hundreds of sensitive documents pertaining to UFO sightings, both in the United States and abroad. Films, still photographs, and even sound recordings of actual UFO sightings made under what was often very tight security. Here are a series of astounding eyewitness UFO incidents. On an Air Force base in the Midwest, a technician and pilot were preparing for a routine surveillance takeoff when suddenly they heard over their heads the unmistakable sound of something unearthly, something of inhuman origin. Looking into the morning sky, they saw a UFO, a classic saucer shape, approximately 40 feet in diameter, which spun and flashed brightly in the sunlight. The UFO was bordered with hundreds of flashing multicolored lights, and although the pilot did not have a movie camera with him to record the incident, he returned immediately to his quarters to make a sketch of the UFO. This sketch became part of the Project Blue Book files. But although the incident was subjected to the closest scrutiny, the government could never find a satisfactory explanation for the bizarre and astounding sighting. The sighting is just one of the many thousands of sightings which have been recorded in official and private archives in the period after the Second World War. If the Earth is attacked by aliens from outer space, there is probably very little conventional defense systems would be able to do to counteract the attack. Any civilization able to travel from planet to planet would certainly be able to effectively destroy Earth's defense systems. For alien invaders from outer space, the Earth could be a haven, a new planet to colonize. Perhaps the alien's own home planet is dying from the after effects of some atomic holocaust. And the possibility that we are being visited by an alien civilization seems more likely with each passing day. Imagine the impact of an alien attack on Washington, D.C., with flying saucers blitzing the Capitol building, wreaking havoc, throwing our government into turmoil. We are completely unprepared for an alien attack, an attack from outer space. And although we hope that such attack will not occur, we cannot be certain. In 1967, in Covington, Indiana, a man was fixing a flat tire on his car on a lonely country road in the bleak month of December. Suddenly, the man heard a strange whirring sound, quite unlike anything he had ever heard before. Looking overhead, he saw the outline of a UFO in the classic saucer shape, which whirred and flashed with an eerie breeze. The man fortunately had a small 16mm movie camera, which he kept for home movies and a roll of color. He quickly exposed more than 3 minutes worth of footage of the UFO, which later became part of the ever-expanding government files. The UFO suddenly vanished without a trace, heading west at incredible speed over the treetops. Although the government subjected the 16mm film record to every conceivable test, they remained unable to explain what it was that caused this apparition in the sky that December morning. Why would aliens attack us? The answer is obvious. We have a green, fertile planet, a planet which is ideal for growing crops and raising cattle. We have a planet still relatively free from contamination. Although ecologists raise their cry of pollution control, compared to some alien planets in an advanced state of nuclear decay, the Earth may well be a virgin paradise. Aliens could swoop down, easily taking control of major government centers, spreading panic and wreaking destruction wherever they landed. Although there can be no proof that we are being watched from outer space at present, it is a good idea to look at the facts in the UFO casebook and see if there is not some justification to be concerned. A pattern of UFO activity could end with the world enslaved by alien beings, and it could happen. But research goes on, and for the moment, we can only speculate about the motives of our extraterrestrial visitors. Where do they come from? We don't know. What do they want? We can't be certain. But the onslaught of UFO reports continues. A woman in Germany was in her backyard having a picnic with her 3 children. Suddenly, she heard a whirring sound over her head. Astonished, she looked up and saw a large silvery metallic disc which emitted a strange yellow-blue light and hovered only 10 feet over her head. As she watched, the UFO suddenly darted away, moving at incredible speed, and in seconds, it was gone. The woman was well known locally and was not considered by her neighbors to be any sort of a crackpot. By the time the police arrived, however, there was no evidence of the sighting. In California in the late 60s, a woman was walking on a Hollywood backlot when suddenly a crew member shouted to her. Hovering over her shoulder, high in the air, was a UFO. With evidence of this sort increasing daily, how much longer can it be until we know the whole truth about the amazing world of UFOs? And the controversy over UFOs continues. The UFO questions raised by Congress, the press, and private citizens resist an easy answer. Although the Air Force has been able to explain away nearly 95% of all UFO sightings, many of the incidents recorded in the files of Project Blue Book, for example, remain a mystery. Here is another astounding UFO case. At Luke Air Force Base in Arizona on March 3rd, 1953, 2 captains of the Air Force were on their way to their planes for a routine reconnaissance patrol. Suddenly, they saw hovering at an altitude of about 200 feet a shining silvery disc which hummed loudly as it inspected the airfield. Was this a UFO investigating our earthly defense system? It could be that we are even now being monitored in our radio and television broadcasts by alien civilizations from outer space. The captains had 1 movie camera, a small 16mm home movie outfit, which they turned on the UFO. After filming the UFO for nearly 3 minutes, it abruptly changed course and vanished into the sky at a speed far in excess of any earthly airborne craft. In addition, the craft made right-angled turns and behaved in a manner which suggested that its navigational system was not anything like the conventional jet propulsion system. The flight path of the aircraft suggested that it must be controlled by an intelligent life form. What sort of aircraft would be capable of such bizarre maneuvers? The captains immediately took the exposed film to their superior officer, where it was developed under the strictest security and sent on to the Air Force headquarters in Washington. No explanation was ever given for the incident. Here is another UFO sighting. A man saw a UFO slowly hovering over a nearby clump of trees before vanishing into the night altogether. The man notified the authorities, but no explanation was ever advanced for the sighting. The Air Force suggests that many such sightings can be easily explained away as weather balloons or other phenomena. This is sometimes true, but often the area of a UFO sighting will be completely free from any sort of military, civilian, or weather survey activity. In the absence of these explanations, what can the military claim? Do UFOs exist? The United States government does not think so. But we cannot help but think, as we ponder the vast illimitable reaches of space, that it is more than likely that UFOs do exist. If UFO sightings continue, it seems possible that someday in the not-too-distant future, as we watch in amazement, a UFO may land and signal to the whole world that there are other civilizations beyond our own. And what would your reaction be? And will the UFO visitors be our friends or our enemies? Throughout man's history, man has speculated about the possibility of an alien invasion. We may see aliens visit our planet someday, and we may not. In the vastness of the universe, it seems incredible that we should be the only intelligent denizens of the galaxies. But intelligence is not necessarily conscious, and we have no way of knowing the plan of our potential visitors in advance. And still, the reports come in. An object hovering over the Ginza Strip during rush hour. A UFO sighting in Brazil, with hundreds fleeing from what appeared to be an attacking fleet of UFOs, although the official explanation for this was a barrage of weather balloons. Not too many years ago, more than 1,000 people in Texas watched a group of UFOs hover over an open field near their town, while a young boy in the crowd took two astounding pictures of the sight. On an Air Force base in the Midwest, a technician and a pilot watched in astonishment as UFOs flew passes over the base, possibly examining the base for an intelligence report. Again, the UFOs stayed so long that the technician was able to make a sound recording of the incident, which is locked away in the National Archives. These are not available to the public, and some are so damaged that it is difficult to study them. The official casebook on UFOs is closed, but the controversy goes on. All over the world, UFOs are being sighted daily, continuously, and it seems as if the day when we come face to face with our alien neighbors cannot be too far off. Do UFOs exist? Daily, the question becomes more and more intriguing, more and more astounding, and we find that whether we like it or not, we are living in the middle of a world of mystery, a world of unexplained phenomena, a world of dreams and impossible fantasy, a world of alien beings from outer space. Throughout the world, scientists keep watch over the many pictures sent back by our drone satellites as they circle the globe, sending back astonishingly accurate photo maps of our amazing universe. As these composite maps come in, scientific researchers study these maps and get a better understanding of our world. Using gigantic computers, these maps can be easily stored and interpreted. Were it not for these gigantic thinking machines and trained photo analysis of the satellite pictures, man would still be in the dark in our universe. In universities around the country, research goes on at colleges and private research institutions. In the field, scientists continue to search for evidence of UFOs, taking pictures and scientific readings where UFOs have been known to land. These men are surveying a known UFO landing site from an airplane high above the mountains. What will they find? Watch with us now as we see all the many phases of a UFO information gathering project as teams work around the globe, assembling information which will help us in the event of an alien attack from outer space. As we watch scientists around the globe gathering information on UFOs and the possibility of life on other planets, let's listen in on an actual eyewitness account of a UFO landing in this astonishing tape recording.
This is Captain Hector, Director of Information at Little Rock Air Force Base. We're here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, interviewing Mr. Bill Cruz, General Manager of KFSA Radio here in Fort Smith, concerning the sightings last night, August 15th, of the purported UFOs. Mr. Cruz, could you give us an idea of the incidents leading up to your sighting of these objects?
Well, I think, Captain, as I told you earlier, we had some of the top staff members of KFSA in a dinner meeting and a discussion of programming going into the fall and with football. And no one actually, including my wife, knew where we were. So when the sightings occurred or the bulletins broke at shortly after 8 o'clock, our news director, Mark Adams, was alerted, and we had several live reports. Witness one, I think, that you have heard from the constable of one of our adjacent communities here, which is known as Kavanaugh. After the meeting broke up at approximately 10 o'clock, we were proceeding back to the station, actually, then to talk to Mark Adams. And immediately on getting in the mobile unit, a station mobile unit, one of two that we have, then we heard reports of the unidentified flying objects, or UFO. We stopped and we did see what we thought were some rather unusual objects, and I think at that time that's the word we were using. The phrase was being used advisedly by our news director and by the correspondents, by the employees of the station, UFO, at the time we were tuning in. And then we had a young man who was age 20, who seemed to be an intelligent young man and would not be led to actually anticipate things or read into something that wasn't there. And so this lended credence to the story as it was beginning to mount. But this time it was about an hour and 45 minutes from our first report. And he led us to the area, which was approximately a mile almost due west of the airport, on what is Old Greenwood Road in Phoenix, and is right almost in the flight pattern, actually, of the planes coming into Fort Smith Municipal Airport. At that particular time, we took up a position there, and instead of using bulletin type of announcements and interviews, etc., we had almost continual coverage from 10:30 until approximately 1:45 this a.m. At that time, while we were there, of course, our sister newspaper here in town, a photographer, a staff photographer for the Southwest American and the Fort Smith Times Record, came out and showed us pictures, 8 by 11, of 4 different shots with high-speed action cameras of this unidentified flying object. And this, of course, continued, or at least stirred us to stay on the spot and continue reporting. I did personally see an unidentified flying object. It was completely different than the object looked in the photograph of the Southwest American as taken because you have seen those photographs. The vehicle that we saw twice in approximately 45 minutes immediately overhead, we were using stars, poles, anything that we could as getting a fix on the position and trying to trace their movement, which always seemed to be in a clockwise motion. This vehicle, maybe it was the same, maybe it was a different one. We did see 3 different sightings out there, 3 different what we thought were unidentified aircraft. But they did pass over with an interval of twice in 45 minutes, right almost in the same spacing between those same 2 stars, at what we could say was a tremendous acceleration, and the pattern, or at least the shape of the unidentified aircraft, was in what I have described as delta swept-back wings, or if you wanted to use, to break it down in layman's terms, the shape of a boomerang, or the extreme angle type of description of the craft. As I said, it was a pattern, definitely a basic pattern. People stayed there for hours to verify us, so that even though a lot of us had been going for quite some time, our news director from about 5 a.m. in the morning called back onto the scene to report this. Up until approximately 1:45, we were all tired, and we kept asking, especially people 40 years and older, people who, one gentleman, by the way, from Little Rock, who is a member of the National Guard, 24 years of age, if he had seen anything like this, and he said definitely no, continuing to talk and describing what commercial aircraft and all aircraft, the type of markings they have, the red and the green lights in the wing, etc., and the rotating red tail light, I believe it is, on the tail assemblage of the craft. And that indeed none of the sightings that we saw had this type of identification.
And all around the world, research goes on. UFOs have been linked to natural phenomena, earthquakes, hurricanes, glacier slides, and the world of birds. UFOs may be linked to the natural cycle of the plant and animal world. UFOs may control our growth seasons. Do UFOs really exist? Only time will tell. Another incredible collection of UFO documentation. This is a drawing of a supposed visitor from outer space. Is this an ancient engraving of a rocket ship? This drawing was found on the wall of a Mayan temple. Here's the noted mystic Rasputin, who believed that we are being visited by creatures from other worlds. Was he right? Here is Rasputin with 2 of the palace guards at the Tsar's court in early 20th century Russia. Later, Rasputin was murdered by these 2 Russian noblemen. This is a photo of a ghost from Victorian England. Many people believe there is a connection between ghosts and UFOs. Do you? This man is in a trance as he visits the world beyond the grave. Is this man under the influence of a force from outer space? Here is more ghostly evidence that there is a force beyond the realm of the living. This is a photo of a UFO taken near Sussex, England in 1966. Is this a genuine UFO? You be the judge. as a UFO hovering over the ground near Caracas, Venezuela. UFO sightings are becoming increasingly more common. Here's a double-decker UFO photographed near Paris in 1973. Is this really a spaceship from another world? We will probably never know for sure. Here's another close-up of a UFO, slightly blurred. True photographs of UFOs are rare, even though many sightings have been reported around the world. This photo caused a front-page sensation around Europe in the early 1960s. Is this really a UFO from outer space? Here, high in the Himalayan mountains, scientists search for evidence of the missing link, or abominable snowman. Is the missing link a creature from outer space? Here, Sir Edmund Hillary examines a relic of Bigfoot with one of his native guides. Many expeditions have tried to bring back the missing link. None have succeeded. And in laboratories around the world, the research continues. In the vastness of the universe, who knows what amazing phenomena wait for man's inspection? Who knows what incredible experiences lie in the void beyond our solar system and man's limited comprehension of the universe? In all the world, no one man can tell what is happening in outer space. No one knows for sure whether or not we are being visited by creatures from other planets. Creatures who may regard us as Stone Age barbarians. Creatures who may well feel that we are not capable of joining them as fellow citizens of a sane and safe universe. In the summer of 1978, the United Nations held a conference on UFO activity with many of the world's top scientists and UFO researchers in attendance. The United Nations knows that UFO reports are no laughing matter. And in the whole universe, it seems incredible to imagine that we are the only intelligent life in all the solar system. As we watch these scientists at work, let's explore some new UFO incidents. Consider this astounding true life sighting. On July 2nd, 1952, in Tremont, Utah, a man was on a camping trip with his wife in a national park when suddenly he heard a sound unlike anything he had ever heard before. Spinning around, he grabbed his camera and photographed an astonishing 25-foot section of film that later became part of the famous Project Blue Book, the Air Force's secret study into the subject of UFOs. Although the footage was subjected to exhaustive analysis by government specialists, the specialists could detect no trickery, no fakery of any kind, and were forced to admit that perhaps the Tremont sighting was a genuine UFO sighting. And the sighting became another inexplicable occurrence in the official UFO records. UFOs have been linked with reports of earthquakes and hurricanes. Although the United States government abandoned the study of UFOs, declaring that UFOs pose no threat to international or national security, the controversy continues, and research by many private UFO investigative groups is continuing. What form will alien life take? Will alien life regard us as a friend or a foe? And how did life on our planet begin? Certainly, this could be a clue to how life on other planets may be evolving right now. Many scientists think that the Earth and solar systems of all the universe were formed by a gigantic explosion of gas and foreign matter in what scientists refer to as the Big Bang theory of the origin of the universe. Others speculate that Earth's own history is the record of alien visits to Earth during the first millenniums of its history. Alien beings who later were interpreted in scriptures as gods, but in fact, visitors from faraway planets who started the chain of life on Earth with a few laboratory animals called humans. Then the aliens retired to watch the results of human action. If human life is the result of alien experimentation, one can only imagine what the aliens must think of the mess mankind has made of the Earth. And perhaps far away in some distant galaxy, another civilization, also an alien experiment, is doing far better than we on Earth are. Perhaps the master alien gods will destroy Earth as a warning to other races to behave or else. Here is another astounding UFO case history. In Moline, Illinois, in 1967, a man was walking with his dog in a field when suddenly he saw hovering in the air above him a metallic silvery object, saucer-shaped, which flew silently over the ground, burning the area beneath it to a charred ruin. The man turned his small 8mm movie camera on the object and recorded for posterity nearly 5 minutes of the craft hovering over the ground before the spaceship suddenly changed its course and vanished abruptly into the northwest. This footage, too, became part of the Air Force's Project Blue Book. But again, the Air Force could find no satisfactory explanation for the incident, and the sighting became part of the expanding file of genuine government-investigated UFO sightings. In Colorado Springs, Colorado in 1964, 2 men were out hunting when they saw a UFO flying over a clump of trees. In the bright daylight, there was no mistaking the outlines of a classic UFO shape. The craft was a typical saucer shape with lights running around the edge of the craft, constantly flickering on and off in seemingly random patterns. Again, the man had a small 8mm movie camera, and he photographed more than 100 feet of motion picture film of the UFO before it suddenly zipped away into the clear blue sky. And once again, the footage was submitted to Project Blue Book for analysis, and once again, the Air Force could find no satisfactory explanation for the phenomena. These many incidents of UFO sightings point once again to the incredible proliferation of UFO encounters which occur under the tightest security restrictions. At Fort Smith Air Force Base in 1967, a pilot for the Air Force was checking out his plane for a typical morning surveillance run when suddenly he saw a UFO over the airfield. Although the pilot did not have a movie camera, he did have a small dictation tape recorder, and he turned it on, recording more than 5 minutes of the sound of an actual UFO. And this tape, too, joined the Project Blue Book files. Again, the Air Force could find no logical explanation for the incident. These are just some of the recent UFO sightings, and although the Air Force has closed down Project Blue Book, the research continues. Will our future alien visitors be our friends or our foes? There is no way to be certain. But although we do not have positive proof of alien visitors from outer space, we do have more than enough information to make us wonder. Are there other beings far away in outer space who monitor our progress and wait for us to contact them? Are they friends or foes? This is only one of the mysteries waiting to be explored, waiting to be revealed in outer space. Come with us now on a tour through the cosmos as we explore the many mysteries and wonders of the universe. Man has always longed to explore the universe, and someday his dream will become a reality. Perhaps here in outer space, man will discover the keys which unlock the mysteries of time. The universe, inventing equations to map the distances in space, attempting to discover the secrets of the atom and the universe, trying to solve the question of his own place in the skies. At NASA laboratories, scientists engage in advanced research to determine the origins of our planet, sending up radio reconnaissance satellites and small airplanes to tell us more about our world and the universe around it. At the same time, we are aware that the information sent back by our reconnaissance planes could be used to help defend the Earth in the case of an attack from outer space. Of course, our reconnaissance satellites are currently used primarily for map-making throughout the universe. But our scientists are all too aware that these same principles of map-making could allow an alien civilization to draw a fatal bead on the United States. The precise degree to which we can map the terrain of a distant planet is a disturbing reminder of how easy it would be for an alien civilization to map our planet, as it may be already doing through the use of UFO scout ships. Many UFO sightings take place near military bases, missile installations, and other security and defense areas. Could it not be that alien civilizations are even now compiling maps which will assist them in the invasion of our planet? And our scientists keep searching the skies, searching for evidence that we are not alone. These children touring a military airbase are unaware of the fact, but UFO space research is a serious business. As we travel through the silent black void of space, we are struck by the enormous distances between our giant neighbors. Huge planets which spin silently in the illimitable reaches of the universe. Out in the void of space, we have no way to tell where we are or which direction to travel in as our future spaceships slide silently past the planets. On Earth, scientists continually update the materials which we have on our celestial cousins. Precision machinery, honed to the smallest degree of tolerance, keeps watch on our solar system and the universe. Mankind continually tests his boundaries, exploring the universe around him and searching for new ways to understand and unlock the secrets of creation. Will man someday reach the skies and take his place as one of the rulers of the stars? Will mankind finally unlock the last secret of the universe and searching through the galaxies find that he is truly master of all that he surveys, ruler of the universe? Mankind's researches continue, but man has so much to overcome if he is ever to usefully apply the knowledge which he has gained. For all the wonders of science and all the creations of mankind are of no use to us unless we can apply them with compassion and human understanding. Mankind's voyage through the universe of knowledge is a continually unfolding affair. For the more that man knows, the more he realizes how little he really understands, how much he has yet to learn. And still, in government research centers and private foundations around the globe, the work goes on. Many questions still are unsolved and still the subject of further research. And what will life be like on an alien world? What will their values be? What will an alien think of our earthly civilization? What will we think of his civilization? Will we meet a visitor from outer space with guns or with understanding? The future holds many things for us, but there is one thing we can always be certain of. In all the vastness of the universe, it seems unlikely that there is not some other form of life out there, waiting for us in the illimitable vastness of space. Is there life on other planets? Do UFOs come from outer space? Can life exist on other planets? Man cannot conceive of a creature unlike himself, but such creatures may exist. On the surface of every planet is a gaseous layer called an atmosphere. Our own atmosphere contains oxygen and other gases. Oxygen, of course, is the gas which we must breathe to live. Who is to say what forms alien life might take? Man searches the heavens looking for the answers that have seemed beyond reach for thousands upon thousands of years. Will mankind find the answer to the riddle of creation in the skies? Will the heavens give up their secrets at last and allow mankind to live in a world without war, without pain, without fear, without hunger? Our children's tomorrows may depend on what we can discover today. And man continues to explore the mysteries of the heavens, searching for the answers to these questions. Someday, perhaps, his search may be over. But man continues to dream and continues to build, functioning best, perhaps, when the odds are heavily stacked against him. The cost may be high, but man will never stop until he truly controls his own destiny in the universe. In addition to the incredible cost of conventional rockets, you can only use a rocket once. And as the backup stages fall away from the craft, the rocket becomes unusable. Some scientists are now exploring the use of a redesigned plane in space. Astronauts landing on an alien planet need a smaller rocket to ensure their return to Earth, or an orbiting mothership, which permits exploration by a shuttlecraft. Could future astronauts use a modified plane to travel through space? Scientists must find some way of travel, such as a saucer, which can be reused and does not require the incredible amounts of fuel that rockets do to escape the Earth's gravity. UFOs seem to slip away from the hold of the Earth with very little difficulty. Drama of life and death unfolds as the universe flows majestically on, serene and ever-changing. Our own aerial satellites now span the universe with many, many interconnecting paths. These satellites provide us with the information we need to better understand our universe. Could not another civilization also send out space probes to send back information for their use, for good or for evil? Can we expect an attack from deep space? To prevent such a possibility, or at least to avoid being attacked without any warning, mankind is developing space outposts for our own manned observer ships. From their vantage point in the skies, these observers will be able to send back information which will better help us to be prepared in the event of an alien attack. In addition, these outposts can provide us with information vital to our defense against foreign powers who might try to surprise us with a sneak nuclear attack. The many monitoring panels at Mission Control receive much vital information, sorting readings of the temperature, atmospheric composition, and also continually monitoring all frequencies for any possible radio communication by an alien intelligence. Are we being watched by aliens in the skies? With these early warning outposts, we may have a fighting chance in the event of an alien attack. Here, Once again, these youngsters are touring a space center. They shout in unison in the wind tunnel of a gigantic space research center and hear the echo come back. Once again, space research becomes a game. But as the costs run up into millions of dollars, we realize that the race for space is an expensive and costly proposition, and the design of future spacecraft and jet propulsion systems is fraught with peril and failure. Often months of labor will amount to nothing, and there is no guarantee of success. Here we see a pilot training in a NASA flight simulator. The pilot will gain experience here, which will later help him to pilot a rocket through outer space. Will man one day travel among the stars? Perhaps. And the research goes on. Here is one of our own Earth exploratory probes, which we send out to sample the soil and weather conditions on alien planets in preparation for a manned visit to the planet. The sensitive instrumentation on board the space probe sends back information which will be of vital importance in deciding our future space program. Here, the robot arm is put to a more frivolous use as it plays chess with a young woman. The robot arm is guided by human movements, interfaced with the knowledge bank of a giant computer. But we must always remember that computers are no smarter than the information we feed into them. That for all the miles of magnetic tape, a machine is still a machine, and the computer is our slave, not the other way around. The computer can make our lives easier, or it can enslave us all. Imagine a Hitler tied into a computer bank. The thought is horrifying. But in space research, computers continue to be a valuable tool to assist us in our search through the stars. Without the aid of these thinking miracles, we would be little more than dreamers, unable to make our dreams come true. Technology can listen in on alien civilizations in outer space, or it can turn our lives into living nightmares. Are we being observed by an alien civilization which is monitoring our radio broadcasts, our television programs, and finding out for themselves all the curious facts of our earthly civilization? Are alien civilizations tolerant of our outer space listening posts? Or do they view our progress into the solar system with alarm and trepidation? What do alien civilizations think of our own feeble attempts to voyage into outer space? First, into our own solar system, and then into the void beyond. radar telescopes keep watch on the skies, listening for advanced warning signs of a possible impending visit from a civilization far in advance of ours. Ancient astronomers, philosophers, mathematicians, and other sages first discovered the basic secrets of the universe thousands of years ago. And although the basic facts have been unearthed, the real work is just beginning. The discoveries of the past have only paved the way for the discoveries of the future, as man continues to explore the many wonders of the universe. And as scientific research continues, the questions multiply. What is really out there in space? Who might be listening in to our radio broadcasts and monitoring our thought patterns? Who might be out there in the vastness of the universe? In the years to come, scientific research must face the continuing challenge of space travel as mankind moves forward in the race to conquer the skies. Man can learn to live among the clouds, but he must adapt. If he does not, he will die. Mankind reaches into the skies, and by reaching into the secrets of the cosmos, he is reaching into the innermost secrets of his own creation. But in the vastness of the universe, the affairs of man are of little consequence. Mankind's trials and tribulations are just a split second in the life of the universe, a life which is reckoned in millions of years. Who can say what is really important in the vast scheme of the universe? Perhaps there is alien life somewhere out there in the illimitable vastness of space. And so, our sentinels of the skies, our silent watchdog satellites, continue to make pictures, keep records, and survey the planets, assembling the most exhaustive cartographic evidence man can obtain, giving man a more accurate picture of the amazing universe that he lives in. As we travel through space, what do we see? We see the many, many meteors, the planets, the seemingly endless expanse of the universe stretching before us in all its glory. But what is beneath the surface of our universe? And of course, what is in the universe's past? What secrets does the universe have hidden deep in the mists of time as we go back to the dawn of the universe's creation and speculate as to how the cosmos was created? Many scientists think that the universe was started by a terrific explosion of cosmic gas and debris. And is it not possible that the universe harbored intelligent life? Perhaps a race which was far in advance of our own scientific and humanistic accomplishments? Is it not possible that past inhabitants of the universe were destroyed by a natural holocaust? Or perhaps a nuclear holocaust as they warred among themselves, turning their world into a barren wasteland of rock and ash, destroying a civilization which had taken centuries to build? Or perhaps the survivors moved underground to live in caves, the hideous mutated byproducts of a nuclear disaster. As we travel through outer space, we can only look at the universe and wonder. Come with us then, on a tour through space, a tour through the mysteries of the universe. And as mankind continues to explore the secrets of the universe, building on his proud heritage as inventor, scientist, philosopher, and student of the cosmos, he will continue to push back the boundaries of his knowledge in his quest for the secrets of life itself. Man's many inventions may have made his life easier, more pleasant, and man's invention of the electric light has made his standard of living higher than ever before. Out for the stars, into the universe. Here on the launching pad, we wait tensely for the rocket to take off. This immense giant, which has taken so much time and energy to prepare. The seconds go by agonizingly. Every item is checked and rechecked. And finally, we have liftoff. At mission control, every step of the mission is carefully monitored. Millions of dollars worth of scientific equipment is on the line, and every second could mean the success or failure of the mission. The communication links back to Earth keep humming with information, telemetric readings, and voice communications. The mood inside the blockhouse is tense. This is the real thing. Miles and miles of data unreal as computers keep track of the information pouring in from the sensitive rocket's equipment. And what will we find in space as our radio telescopes search the skies? Men of old searched the skies wondering about the nature of the universe. Today, the research continues. Perhaps some kind of atomic power might enable us to travel freely throughout the universe and to become one of the citizens of the stars. And perhaps our spaceships may eventually become UFOs. And the aliens may ask themselves, what is that in the sky? Is it a UFO? It is not too fantastic to think that somewhere another civilization may be just beginning. By the time mankind has mastered space travel, our spaceships will chance upon a planet which is inhabited by a race developed to the point where mankind is now. What will they think? Will they attack us? Will they try to destroy us before we can contact them, before we can tell them that we come in peace to share knowledge freely and equally? These are sobering thoughts which we ought to remember in the event that we are ever visited by creatures from beyond the galaxy. As our probes travel over the surfaces of the Moon, Mars, and Saturn, the mystery deepens. We once thought that UFOs might come from Mars, that the canals on Mars meant that there was intelligent life there. What are UFOs? Where do they come from? What do they want? Is there any truth at all to reports of little green men from Mars? Or is it all hysteria, media hype, the ravings of just a few members of the so-called lunatic fringe? We present the evidence for your own decision. We take no position on the existence of life on other worlds. But ask yourself, doesn't it seem astounding that in all the universe, in all the immense vastness of space, there is only one planet which is inhabited with intelligent life? Doesn't it seem slightly incredible that only on Earth should there be any life form more advanced than the few primitive vegetable life forms that we may find on the planets of our immediate solar system? Well, far out in space, who can tell what other galaxies, what other universes, what other civilizations exist, patiently waiting for us to become aware of their existence? In all the vastness of the universe, doesn't it seem incredible to you that only on Earth is there intelligent life? It seems impossible to believe, but somewhere out there, there is probably a civilization waiting patiently for us to contact them, speculating about the possibility of our existence. And will these UFO visitors be our friends or our enemies? We cannot be certain. In a flying saucer attack, the initial damage would be inflicted so fast that there would be no escape from the alien onslaught, much like an atomic holocaust. If Earth is attacked by aliens from outer space, there is very little that conventional defense systems would be able to do to retaliate. And the possibility that we are being visited by an alien civilization seems more likely with each passing day. How do UFOs travel? Do they travel by some sort of anti-gravity device, which the alien pilots can turn on and off at will, allowing the craft to maneuver freely in the atmosphere? Do the UFOs have other methods of locomotion, which allow the pilots to change direction and make course corrections which conventional pilots using humanly built aircraft cannot? The manufacture of a spacecraft which can easily travel from planet to planet is a prime objective if mankind is ever to roam freely from planet to planet. As we continue to travel through deep space, we ask ourselves many questions, questions for which there can be no answer. Perhaps our giant computers will help us, and satellite outposts will help us feel more at home in the vastness of the universe and better understand the hostile environment of outer space. Although man may conquer outer space, it will forever remain a mystery to him, and the search for knowledge continues. Mankind continually tests his boundaries, exploring the universe around him and searching for new ways to understand and unlock the secrets of creation. Will man someday reach the skies and take his place as one of the rulers of the stars? Will mankind finally unlock the last secret of the universe and, searching through the galaxies, find at last that he is truly master of all that he surveys, a lord of the universe by name and right? Mankind's researches continue, but man has so much to overcome if he is ever to usefully apply the knowledge which he has gained. For all the wonders of science and all the creations of mankind are of no use to us unless we can apply them with compassion and human understanding. Mankind's voyage through the universe of knowledge is a continually unfolding affair, a mystery tour which has no ending and no beginning. For the more that man knows, the more he realizes how little he really understands, how much he has yet to learn. A closer look at our world? Perhaps. But man must continue to look at himself if he truly wants to master all the secrets of time and space. For the future will belong to those who can use knowledge wisely and not wastefully, to those who can understand the mysteries of the universe and then put that knowledge to work for the betterment of mankind. Man is still a long way from being the ruler of the skies, but man will continue to push back the boundaries of his learning and wonder. And as scientific research continues, the questions multiply. What is really out there in space? Who might be listening in on our radio broadcasts and monitoring our thought patterns? Who might be out in the vastness of the universe searching for the answers to the riddles of creation? In the years to come, scientific research must face the continuing challenge of space travel as mankind moves forward in the race to conquer the universe. Let's listen to the actual sound of an eyewitness UFO encounter.
This is Captain Hector, Director of Information, Little Rock Air Force Base at Fort Smith, Arkansas, talking to a member of the Fort Smith Police Department regarding sightings made on 15 August 1966. Sir, could you give me your name, please, and your occupation?
Sergeant J.W. Gilbreth with Fort Smith Police Department. At approximately 10:30, the night of the last date, August 15th, I was sent by the radio operator to the cemetery on State Line Road in this city, be about the 4500 block. A crowd of people congregated in this cemetery. They had set up a telescope with a tripod legs and informed myself and Officer McFadden that they were observing some flying objects in the sky. And at this time we watched the sky for a few minutes and saw no flying objects and advised people they would have to leave the cemetery, which they did. Upon returning to downtown area by way of South Y Street, I observed a crowd of people, a large crowd of people with vehicles parked on both sides of the street near the State Line Road. Stopped and asked their reason for being there and was told that they were watching for flying objects. I parked the police department unit and got out with the intention to have the people move the vehicles, and at about this time a man pointed an object moving through the air at a moderate rate of speed, traveling from north to south.
This actually was your sighting as such. Could you describe as such the shape of the object? Could you tell at all anything concerning the shape?
No, I could tell nothing about the shape of the object as far as the body. The object itself was two lights that appeared, one being red and the other green, very prominent lights, and both lights appeared to flash in a rotating movement. They were visible for some few seconds and disappeared in a southerly direction.
Anything concerning the speed of these? Was it an unusually high speed, or could it possibly be an aircraft?
No, sir.
Who is out there? What is out there? Although speculation continues, there are no easy answers, and we need more data before we can make a firm conclusion. Man must learn to build vehicles which will safely carry him into the stars, and so research into rocket construction continues. Here we see the assembly of the space shuttle at the NASA facilities in Houston and Florida. The body is assembled piece by piece, painstakingly put together by dedicated technicians who work around the clock to build the incredibly costly but incredibly necessary space shuttle. And everything has to be just right, engineered to the most exacting tolerances. The space shuttle is ready for its first flight. It takes to the air piggyback on a larger plane, which will release it in the air. Soon, we are aloft in the shuttle, on our way to outer space. The plane will release the shuttle when we are in the Earth's outer atmosphere. factories in the NASA complex, the Rocketdyne engine is developed, which will power the space shuttle into its voyage to the edges of space. The space shuttle must depend entirely on this engine. Without the engine, the shuttle will fall to Earth, to destruction, perhaps burning up in the Earth's atmosphere. The shuttle can have no backup engine. Therefore, it is imperative that the one engine on which it must depend be of the highest quality. Here, former President Nixon tours the Mission Control Center for the Space Shuttle, congratulating scientists on their successful space research. As you have seen in our collection of photos and heard in the actual experiences of eyewitnesses who have actually seen UFOs both here in the United States and in countries around the world, the UFO question is heating up. With the number of UFO reports growing daily, it seems incredible that the United States government has recently disbanded the official Air Force inquiry into the subject of UFOs, the Air Force's Project Blue Book. As we mentioned before, after more than 2 decades of cataloging UFO sightings and many hundreds of feet of film and thousands of still photographs, the Air Force came to the conclusion that UFOs did not exist, and that if they did, they posed no security threat to the United States. But although the Air Force has been able to satisfactorily explain away more than 95% of all UFO sightings, at least 5% of the sightings remain inexplicable. Many of the supposed UFO sightings were weather balloons, rockets straying from their path, aircraft that weren't supposed to be in the area, atmospheric phenomena, and other natural phenomena. But 5% of the sightings were complete mysteries. What are these objects? Objects that even the Air Force cannot explain away. Any answers we might formulate would be only guesses, fragmented thoughts on a subject which has confounded man for more than 2 decades of official study. And the work goes on. Private organizations around the globe are searching for the answer to the UFO question. Man must keep up his experimentation if he is truly to be master of the universe in the event of a possible UFO attack. What will man do on that day when alien spaceships touch down on Earth? Man must continually broaden his knowledge and keep up his pioneer spirit of invention if he will learn to cope with the pressures of living in a UFO world. A man in Brooklyn was sweeping out his store when across the street he saw a shiny object hovering over the roof of a beauty parlor. Was it a UFO? He rushed into his store to call the police, but by the time the police had gotten there, whatever it was had vanished. Was this man telling the truth? He admitted to the investigating policeman that his story sounded incredible, but he stuck to it through a barrage of questioning by newspapers and other media. No one has been able to make him change his story, and so the search for UFO explanations continues. The Air Force routinely explains away many of the UFO sightings which they logged in their Project Blue Book as of an ordinary nature. But are they? Will man pollute his Earth to the point where he can no longer live on it? Man has recklessly squandered his resources. Many oil barges pollute our waterways and cause gigantic oil spills. We must be very careful to preserve our natural resources. Some people feel there is a connection between UFO sightings and the recent giant oil spills in Mexico. Do UFOs cause natural and industrial accidents as a part of a sabotage program? Although there are no clear answers to the UFO question, it seems as if the number of UFO sightings grows daily. A housewife in Minnesota in 1979 was in her backyard doing some gardening when over her head she heard a faint humming sound. She looked up, and there, right above her head, was a large white silvery spinning object about 20 feet in diameter, apparently made of some sort of burnished metal. As she watched in astonishment, the object suddenly began to flash brilliantly and then zoomed off to the east at incredible speed. The authorities were notified and found a burnt patch on the ground right where the woman swore she saw the UFO. A television news crew in Louisiana was out filming a routine traffic accident when suddenly, above some power lines in a clearing, they saw a cigar-shaped object about 50 feet long with flashing lights all around the body of the object. As the crew watched, one of the TV cameramen instinctively swung around and shot more than 300 feet of film on the object. After hovering for nearly 6 minutes, the object flew away to the west. Similar cases have happened recently in Florida and in Australia. What is the story, then, behind these astonishing occurrences? What is the truth behind UFO sightings? Do UFOs exist? Whatever your current thoughts on the UFO question, you will find it hard to wonder whether UFOs do not, in fact, exist, waiting for us in outer space. Rumors and reports of UFO activity continue to the present day. And so, as we voyage among the planets, searching for the answers to the questions of UFOs and life on other planets, we wonder. Although there may not be a world out there like our own Earth, there is probably some intelligent life waiting for us in a corner of the galaxy. Are we alone in the universe? Or is there someone or something out there waiting for us in space? We may never know for sure. But man will continue to explore the mysteries of outer space in his endless search for knowledge of the world around him. And man must be vigilant. He must keep watching the skies. Keep watching. For he can never tell when he may become the object of an alien attack from outer space.